Here's some race footage I wanted to share with you from the RS200. It's really interesting because it shows probably one of the most difficult kind of tactical decisions you'll have to make in the 200, and we certainly don't get it right in this race.
Maybe get across the channel with it, and then we're on the other bank. And
so here we are, we've come out the windward mark. We were sailing quite a decent angle initially, but pretty slow. We weren't sitting out on the side, so we jibed. I'd seen a bit of pressure outright. We're kind of heading for this. Most of the day we've been comfortably both hiking out downwind, doing over 10 knots, so
seems to be filling in across our transom, which is good.
So what made this situation so difficult is we had quite a large gust that we could see out on the right hand side downwind. If you look at the map in the bottom corner, we're coming from the bottom right to the top left, and the wind is going from bottom right to top left as well. What's happening is we're having quite a big gust on the right hand side, but also a big left shift.
Ready for a jibe?
So we have been heading out right then, but we were just having to sail so high to get to the pressure that I thought a jibe and sail the more favourable angle on the headed tack would be better. But as you can see, the pressure is terrible down below 7 knots just there, and that's not really going to work. We really need to be up and planing, so take a look around and think about a jibe back to go over to this pressure again. So you can see I'm still looking around, hoping there's going to be something on this left hand side which you're going to be able to take back to the course, but finally look back right, got to go for the jibe to get over to the increased breeze on that right hand side.
Okay, just holding it here because it looks like a bit of pressure down this right hand side. Yeah, way up. Pull the kicker onto the next lane. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So there we are, boat speed over 10 knots, and this is really nice bit of wind. The only thing is it's quite a big header as well. What this means is the further we go over to this right hand side of the course, the worse the angle is as we jibe back towards the leeward mark. And that's one of the hardest things tactically in a 200.
Okay, ready for a jibe?
I think in most like skiff asymmetrics, pressure is king no matter what, whereas in the 200 the acceleration isn't quite so much, so you always have to think a little bit about your angle, especially on shifty days. So I didn't want to go too far right because I'm a bit worried as I come out the pressure
Can't actually see the buoy. Where were you
how I'm going to get back to the mark.
Yeah, we should have held into that gust.
So as we sail out back left, we're coming out the pressure, the boat speed's dropping down below 9 knots. Feeling a bit sluggish. Looking back, the pressure's still developing on the right. The problem is every time we go over there, it's just a header, and there's not really a way of getting back from that right hand side to the middle of the course. So that's one of the things you've got to be thinking about is, yeah, there's good wind there, but how am I going to return to the centre of the course and find a route back to that leeward mark? I think in hindsight we jibed away from the right hand side too many times. We should have really dug into that pressure. I kept on hoping there would be a little puff to take us back down the middle of the course. Again, go for a bit of a jibe. I think I can see some pressure, but actually after the jibe we never really get our boat speed back up around 10 knots, which is what we were looking at down the other side on the other jibe. I'm looking behind, I can see that breeze on the right hand side of the run is still there and it's not really coming to us.
There is more over left, but just kind of running parallel to it. Keep your weight up, still take us up to it.
So here I think I've seen a bit more pressure on the left hand side as we go downwind, and I'm kind of holding out for that and hoping that will take us in, but
There we go, that's nice.
I think really it's not quite established yet, and we should have stuck into the right hand side. It's a bit of a Hobson's choice really. You either stick into that pressure and just accept that, you know, you're going to have to sail a lifted gybe out of that corner, or you try and stay on the left hand side downwind, sail the shift, but you know, if you're dropping down 4 knots slower than you would be in a gust, that's a big boat speed hit. So it's kind of a difficult decision, the 200s, and I think that's what really separates out the really good sailors from mid-fleet, who can weigh up these decisions and between sailing the angle on the shift and the angle and boat speed on the gust. So yeah, we're really dropping out the pressure now, sat in, boat speed below 7 knots. It's horrible. I mean, you can see in the mast cam the breeze behind us. Should have really just stuck into that right hand side. So lesson learned in this situation. Bad call. We kept on trying to get back and we're worried about the shift and the gybe out that corner, but boat speed below 6 knots now, terrible, running quite deep into this leeward mark. So I think there in these kind of marginal planing conditions where the pressure is enough to get you up planing, it probably, you know, even with a 30-degree shift, it's worth just pressing into that pressure and holding it for as long as possible. So I hope that's been a good insight into how I think about our downwind strategy. Give the video a thumbs up if you found it useful, and check back in for more videos in the future.